What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. We currently have matching, but not really matching energy drinks. Show them your energy drink. They're both mango flavored.
Mine tastes like a car battery.
And that's the sign of a healthy relationship.
Yeah, what does yours taste like?
Mine tastes like juice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No, not what mine tastes like. Car battery? Yeah, I told you. Alkaline. Is the yeah. It's the alkaline from the alkaline batteries.
I think my vocal cords are dissolving as we speak. Oh my god.
Yeah. Imagine if you bled out the Energizer Bunny, put it into a can. That's what this shit tastes like.
Why does yours taste like that?
Oh yeah. Energy.
It says nitro mango. That sounded good. That's why I got it for you.
When I pee, it's gonna be green. That's not a medical condition.
I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe and sanitized. We're here to watch some Tier Zoo. We're a little late on this one. You wanna read the date that this came out?
No,
babe.
No, I would not like to read the date this came out.
Why don't you read the date?
I can't read.
That this video came out. But we have actually a really good excuse. This date that this came out is actually the day after I got COVID.
Also to the Tier Zoo hate people, we block niggas. So
who's out here hating on Tier Zoo?
Yeah, there's a whole hate train going on with
you can hate on my dick.
That's what I'm saying. So none of that bullshit.
I think I'm not supposed to
express your opinions, express your favorites, have discourse, right?
But respectfully.
Respectfully.
But yeah, we're here to watch Our Horns OP. And I'm voting yes. No? I don't know.
What? You were so confident.
I never had an opinion on horns before he asked. So I was like, initially I was like, yes, horns are super OP. And then like I thought about it. I was like, I think they're kind of fragile. I think some horns are pretty fragile.
Right, so they might be like
not be OP.
Back. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I have to watch the video to see. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, oh God!
Oh my God!
I just didn't expect the video to start off with violence. We're not even 10 seconds in.
We were jigging around, hanging out. We're running him over. Oh God! Nice.
Players have a wide selection of equipment to choose from when speccing their character. Teeth, claws, stingers, spikes. Each weapon has distinct advantages and disadvantages in combat. Some, like teeth, are better at dealing damage but offer less range and require the user take a significant risk committing to an attack attempt. Claws are a good middle ground, offering solid damage but allowing the user to keep their vitals at least a little bit further away from counterattack range. On the other end of the spectrum is what I'd like to discuss in today's video: horns and antlers. This video was sponsored by Audible.
Alright.
Excluding things like projectiles, skull-based weapons have by far the furthest reach in the game.
Right.
This makes them excellent defensive weapons, as it gives players a large threat range that an approaching player needs to find a way to get through in order to connect with their own attack. Against a player with powerful horns or large antlers, messing up your approach and getting counterattacked can spell disaster, since these attacks can deal devastating damage when they connect. However, actually connecting with a strike isn't always easy for players who spec into this trait.
Right.
Since skull projections can be quite heavy and cumbersome, swinging them can be quite slow and risky in and of itself, because if the attack is dodged by an aggressive opponent, you might be left wide open to getting rushed down and taking a ton of damage.
Bad turn radius.
So today I'd like to delve deeper into the advantages and disadvantages that come with equipping skull weapons to your character, and discuss some examples of good and bad usage of this perk. The two main types of skull weapons.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Is this a bull and a deer?
Right.
I didn't know cows and deer could be in the same place.
That's like a Serengeti
And discuss some
cow.
examples of good and bad usage.
No.
Yeah, man.
But then what kind of deer is that?
Maybe it's an elk.
Cows and elk habitate the same places?
Yeah, elks are. Yeah, we have elk everywhere. But yeah, that's a deer.
Of this perk. The two main types of skull weapons are...
See, that's like a water buffalo.
Yeah.
On that one. And then that's like an antler from
A deer.
like a deer.
horns and antlers. Horns are permanent and usually equipable to both sexes, whereas antlers are grown and shed each year, and usually a perk exclusive to male characters.
We are not the same.
Players in the Servid faction have exclusive access to antlers, while horns can be equipped to a wide variety of character
I like
types and
those
have the major advantage of being permanent. Large antlers are useful for resource competition against other players, and occasionally to deter predators, but really their primary function is tied to the reproduction questline. Part of the Servid questline is that in order to complete the mating quest, male characters need to become party leader. And in order to achieve the rank of party leader, a Servid must duel against other male Servid characters and defeat them. Antlers allow these players to duel in a way that tests their strength while still remaining mostly non-lethal, as these players don't actually want to team kill their own party members.
Jesus.
As far as combat abilities go, antlers probably aren't the most optimal choice. They weigh the user down quite a bit, make it more difficult to move through dense forest, and the enormous amount of energy it takes to shed and regrow them on a regular basis makes them a handicap rather than a perk. They don't have many secondary uses either. They can be used to dig with, but there's no upside to using antlers to dig rather than your feet. In short, antlers are a flex, the kind players can really only get away with when they're already doing quite well and have resources to spare. And even then, antler users tend to ditch the trait as soon as the window to complete the mating questline closes for the year. Horns, on the other hand, can be used to great effect against a wider variety of opponents. Large horns can deal devastating piercing damage and can also be used to inflict knockback, destabilizing even the most aggressive players and creating an opening for a deadly strike to connect. However, they're really only useful in 1v1 combat, since a group of attackers can easily overwhelm a horn user from multiple directions at once, and prevent them from connecting.
It's like staying strapped, but with the small pistol.
Yeah, right.
Got it. You need that AK, you know? What is... Okay, so like AK is like the stereotypical gun
rifle
that people reference,
very,
right?
very illegal. Federal crime. Can't even touch one.
But like... what is the... You know what? I don't want to know. Never mind.
What's the appeal of an AK?
No, I was going to say, but what is the actual better gun?
Like, what's a better assault rifle than an AK-47?
Right, yeah.
In force.
Because, like, AK-47, when I play Call of Duty and I use an AK-47, that shit is trash. That shit is garbo.
Yeah, M16s.
When I was, like, not good at Call of Duty and I had first started playing, and I used to always go for the AK, I would lose.
Yeah.
I would lose so bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, I realized I don't actually want to know. Like...
Yeah. I mean, this would be, like, it would be the same equivalent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a problem.
Like, you thought you was going to be out here murking niggas, but really...
It's just mad clunky, son.
You know?
There's downside.
It's your character with other traits like bulk or speed to help compensate for this weakness.
How are you involved in this?
Skull weapons were added to the game's equipment roster during the late Tetrapod expansion, possibly serving to facilitate party member recognition and later being co-opted for defensive purposes. While data miners are unsure whether early horn users like the Triceratops build had horn attacks as an integral part of their combat movesets, players in the current meta employ a wide variety of strategies to get the most out of their equipment.
I've always wondered why that back hood doesn't exist anymore. Like, that looks like that's the part that's blocking the neck area that all these animals attack. And I've always wondered why, if it's just like a weight thing or like a skull development thing.
I know, huh?
But I always wondered what happened to that.
Maybe it's more
hood.
fragile than it looks, you know?
Oh, yeah, okay. I never considered that. Like, it's more like a hard waffle.
Tank builds like the Rhinoceros tend to use horns primarily for the knockback effect in 1v1 matchups, though they're capable of inflicting lethal piercing damage as well. More agile builds like the Wildebeest and Cape Buffalo coordinate team defenses against predators that employ both horn and kick attacks, and have a high critical hit ratio due to the sharpness of their horns. Some animals with skull weapons favor other types of attacks, using their long legs as the primary line of defense against predators, and mostly use their skull mods to fight against others of the same build type. As powerful and impressive as horns are, their overall contribution to the viability of a character is less than you might expect, especially in terms of how vital they are to a player's game plan for dealing with predator attacks. Most horn users spend a ton of evolution points on their base speed stat to avoid confrontation with more powerful players in the first place, meaning that heavy skull equipment actually impedes this strategy rather than synergizing with it. Horn attacks tend to be employed as a last resort with varying degrees of success, since their base accuracy is so low. Horns lose their value in combat if the player's head is immobilized. So to use this perk effectively, the build should have a high base stamina and access to a variety of other attacks that can counter a grappling opponent.
That makes sense.
Since most animals with horns and antlers defend themselves more effectively with their feet,
See,
there are plenty of examples
Oh,
of similar
yeah.
builds like zebras and camels that are equally viable without horns equipped at all. However, in builds like rhinos that spec into bulk instead of speed, horns are fundamental to their combat strategy, and viability suffers significantly if their horns are damaged. When equipping your character, it's important to consider both your own character's stats and the types of attackers you're likely to encounter before you decide to spec into an expensive skull weapon. For example, if the primary threat in your server is a build from the Panthera faction, horns might not be the most optimal choice, since a big cat's primary objective is to land a critical strike on the opponent's neck.
Exactly.
So you may be better off investing in more forceful kicks that can be used while keeping your head out of reach. But if the meta is more centralized around canine builds, front-facing weaponry may be the better option, since canines tend to target their prey's rear and get kills via bleed damage. The most viable horn users are well-rounded with respect to speed, bulk, and overall combat movesets.
Run 'em over.
But most importantly, they spec their characters to be best equipped to counter the most dangerous threats in the current meta.
Man,
That was really good.
the pace of this video was like a lot faster than some of his other vids.
Yeah.
Normally it takes like a little bit more time, but this one was really tight.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I have a real short attention span, so I need all the info right now.
So, what did you come to the conclusion with between the horns and antler debate you were having?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with horns are not OP.
Okay.
But I still think it'd be cool to just have like a big old horn.
In the middle of your head. We'll work on that. Yeah. I'm sure I won't get annoyed by that at all.
You should try it. It's fun.
I feel like this is just how furries are born. It just starts with a thought and it just goes crazy. Yeah, horns, pretty mid.
Yeah.
You know, appropriate when they're appropriate, not when they're not. And that's just how they are.
And I just feel like there's so many situations in which they're not appropriate, but like things with horns are still there. Like why are wildebeests on the African savannah with all the lions and the cheetahs and like what?
Because I guess when they get in big groups though, you know, they can attack where they're looking.
We saw that in The Lion King, R.I.P. Mufasa.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think there's definitely
but that had nothing to do with their horns. That's like the trampling action, but they're not all there like like stabbing.
I think one of the biggest things evolutionary wise with horns is that it's just not built for a world where humans exist. We build a lot of things that make it very inconvenient to have a gigantic, like big headgear.
Yeah.
We don't even have big hair anymore. That was huge in the 70s. We have big hair, but it's not convenient for us.
No, it's not.
We basically have the human equivalent to horns. And let me tell you,
dead.
most of the time it's inappropriate.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave your reaction requests and recommendations down in the comments below. And other than that, peace out, hope it's skittin' lit.